Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing well. So, topic here that we are going to discuss today it is the manufacturing of the wrought iron from the cast iron. So, how do we be able to manufacture that type of the iron which is having some specific type of properties? Now, what are these main properties? The first one is the wrought iron is basically an iron alloy. So, the here word we have an alloy. Alloy is the substance in which one metal get combined with the other metal and in turn it is making a solid which is called as an alloy, and that alloy which is formed of the wrought iron, it is basically soft, ductile and having the fibrous variety. It usually contains less than 0.1% carbon and 1 to or 2% of the slag. Slag is mainly these are the impurities that are present in it. It is the superior for most purposes to the cast iron, which is overly hard and too much brittle owing to its high carbon content. So by the use of the cast iron, we may be able to prepare that wrought iron. That wrought iron can be easily welded. So the purpose of the welding is just to join the different parts of the iron with the help of some charge which is called as the welding. Now what are the main properties of the cast iron, that what is the main purpose behind we are going to prepare the wrought iron from the cast iron? Cast iron is generally defined as an alloy of the iron that is with 2 to 4.5% of the carbon, so too much high amount of the carbon is present in it, and they usually with more than 0.1% of the silicon. The main three constitutes of the cast iron are: first one is iron, the second one is carbon, and third one is silicon. But the cast iron that contain more of these materials than the steel. So that's why we will prepare the wrought iron, because it is known as the purest form of iron that is present at commercial level. So we just use that iron and it is more in demand. Now, what is the main process for the preparation of that wrought iron? We just have a look on it. Basically, the process was mainly the two processes. The first one was traditional and the second one is modern. Now, what is the main difference between that traditional and the modern way of formation of the wrought iron? In the first one, we just use the smelting process that was done in the blast furnace. It was done for the both traditional as well as for the modern values. But in traditional, we just use the charcoal, and in the modern, we just use the coke, which is the carbon. After this, there is a process of refining that is done in the hearth with the charcoal, and in the modern, it is done in the pudding furnace with the help of the coal. And then we have the shaping. In the traditional, it was done by the use of the hammer, but in the modern techniques, it is done by with the help of the rolling mills. For example, here we have the roller mills, and in between these roller mills, we just pass out that iron to give it a specific type of shape. So, in the modern and traditional, the products was first is the pig iron, which is the first one form of iron. Then we have the wrought iron, which is the second one, and the last one is the bar iron rails that we gained from this process. So in the smelting in the blast furnace with the help of charcoal and coke, we just gain the pig iron. Then the pig iron is just undergone goes the process of refining, and from this we just gain the wrought iron, and then the wrought iron just passes out from the shaping process, and we just gain the bar iron nails. Now this was a simple process, and here we have the pudding furnace, that how do we use that furnace for the production of that process. So here we have the furnace, and this is the simple modern iron, molten iron present over there. So this is a simple door from which we have to just put up all the different materials, and here it is having a hematite lining. Hematite is it is an ore of iron, whose formula is Fe2O3. And here, this is the chimney from which all the waste gases will be evolved, and we will just get the molten iron in this form, and after that, it will be cooled down. And after the cooling process, then it is passed out for the shaping to pass out it to the rollers milling. Now, what are the main chemical reactions that are involving this process? So the chemical reactions are over there. In the first step, we have the carbon, which is the coke. It do react with the hematite, which is the ore of an iron. When it come in contact with this Fe iron oxide, Fe2O3, it forms the iron and the carbon monoxide. On the other hand, if we just have the reaction it with the sulfur, which is the hematite Fe2O3, that is iron trioxide or iron oxide, we just gain the iron and sulfur dioxide, which is a waste gas, and it will be removed from the chimneys from the above. So while all those of the manganese and silicon and the other one is the phosphorus, they will form the slags. Now how do they will form the slags? If we have silicon, when it come in contact with the iron oxide, it will form the silicon dioxide and the iron at the we gain. It may come in contact with the oxygen, then manganese will form manganese oxide. And then that manganese oxide and the silicon trioxide, they come in contact with one another, and they will form the manganese silicon trioxide, which is called being as slag. Now here we have the four phosphorus atoms that will combine with the oxygen, and they will form the phosphorus pentoxide. Why it is being called as a pentoxide? Because it contains five atoms of the oxygen. And at the end, that iron oxide will react with this phosphorus pentoxide, and it will make the iron phosphate, which is also called as slag. So in the first two steps, we just gain the iron, which is called as the wrought iron, and at the end, the other impurities which are being present, they will be converted into the slag. So this was a simple process for the formation of the wrought iron from the cast iron that we have. With the removal of all these impurities that are present in the form of slags, then the melting point of the metal will also rises, and it will be converted into the semi-solid structure, which is called as the molten iron. And at this stage, it just taken out from the process, and then at the ends, the balls that we gain of the iron, they will be subjected to hammer or to squeezing. They will be passed out for the from the rollers. So this was all topic that we have today. I hope you guys understand, and if you have any queries, you may ask me about that in the comment section. And the next topic that we will discuss, it is the introduction to steel. For that time, you guys keep learning and have a good day.